Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. We're certainly pleased to have you here tonight. It is Tuesday, March 1st. We'll start our meeting by introducing you to your City Council.
Council members Rolfing.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
Anderson.
Here.
Erickson. Here. Erpenbach.
Here.
Jamison.
Here.
Karski.
Here.
Kiley.
Here.
Councilors, thank you. Appreciate that. We will start our meeting like we always do with an invocation, and we're very, very blessed to have Chaplain Joanne Lemmy with the Veterans Administration Hospital right here in Sioux Falls. Chaplain Joanne, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. What we'd ask you to do is to stand for the invocation, and then if you could remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance, we'd appreciate that as well. Chaplain?
Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, let us pray. Almighty God, you have called us together to work for the good of the other, for our neighbors, and for this good city. Bless our council members now, Lord, and direct their work, that your Spirit will govern and direct us and give us hope in all things. Bless us and keep us always in your tender care. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amber, welcome. Amber, please come forward. Amber, thank you. First of all, Amber, would you just introduce yourself to the people of our town, please?
My name is Amber Lounsbury, and I'm a committee member on the Sioux Empire Water Festival, which is happening next week.
Are there others here? Oh, you're perfect. That's right. Well, the proclamation reads, whereas the Big Sioux Aquifer underlies approximately 1,000 square miles, and together with the Big Sioux River, provides water to communities in southeastern South Dakota. Whereas providing 2,500 fourth grade children from 110 classes in 47 southeastern South Dakota schools with information about the protection and preservation of water, our most valuable resource, will help children make educated decisions concerning water in the future. Whereas this education is accomplished with the help of 100 plus staff and volunteers from federal, state, county, and city governments, and also from private businesses. Whereas this is the 24th annual event. Whereas the Sioux Falls City Council recognizes the long-term benefits of this type of education and supports educational efforts. Now, I, Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim March 9th and 10th, 2016 as Sioux Empire Water Festival Days in Sioux Falls and the Sioux Empire. Let's give Amber a round of applause, please. Thank you. Council, thank you. I will now move to our consent agenda. Any motions, changes, items?
Approve. Karski.
Second, Erickson.
Councilor Karski has made a motion to approve our consent agenda tonight, seconded by Councilor Erickson. Yes. Councilor Anderson, Jr.
I have one item I'd like to
Yes, sir.
pull. That'd be for Parks and Rec Stadium skybox level walkway repairs.
Councilor Anderson, Jr. has asked for an item to be discussed later, and we'll do that. Anything else? Council, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski. Kiley.
Yes.
Council, thank you. This passed 8-0. Our regular agenda tonight, any changes to that?
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Erickson's made a motion to approve our regular agenda, seconded by Councilor Kiley. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kiley.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Thank you. Folks, again, welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. We appreciate you being here. There's an opportunity for you to engage the council on items later on, of course, as the agenda progresses. But also, this is a great opportunity for you to engage the council really on any topic that is of interest to you. We just ask you that you come forward, state your name, please, for the people of our town, and we would ask you to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Would anybody be interested? Welcome.
Scott Ayersmith, Sioux Falls. I have a few things tonight. I saw that the Dakota Access easement was on the first reading tonight. I didn't even know that we got this far. I found it a bit ironic that one of the former mayors of our city, Gary Hansen, was the only PUC member to vote against this. I'm against it totally, to tell you the truth, so I'll just put that out there. I don't think we need to be building pipelines. I think we need to be building more solar panels and more wind turbines, but we vote against that stuff too. I just think it's too close to the city, and we shouldn't be putting in pipelines on our city-owned property. It sounds like kind of a hassle for us, and I would urge you to all vote no, so to have them move and not be on our property. As for the administration building, I don't think we really need it. I think it's just another thing to blow a bunch of money on stuff. Seems like this administration and council has been very successful at spending our money. I don't know how much of it's been prudent. It's a great example today when Councilor Jameson said during the informational meeting, doesn't seem like there's a lot of homework done on why we really need this building. We have all these other buildings that we're using that we want to take these people out of and put them in this building, but we haven't said really why we're going to stop using these other buildings, except that we're going to build up a surplus. It's 2016. Don't need to have everybody underneath the same building to work. You know, Governor Rounds got in trouble because he had to have a fleet of airplanes because he had to fly everywhere to do business. Sorry. We have Skype, we have internet, we have telephones, we have teleconferencing. I can go on and on and on. I was in a meeting at work the other day over the television with the guy in Chicago. We don't need to be in the same building to work together. It's ludicrous and it's old school and something they did back in the 40s. I really think you guys should vote against this. Another reason is I think it's terrible to ask for the city councilors up here for their outgoing vote to be to spend $24 million taxpayer money. Seems kind of silly for them to put us in more debt as one of their final votes. I think it should be researched more by the next council. Give them a year to come up with a better plan. I do have something, well, I'll leave this to last, but as for SIRE, you know, I was working on the regular video today at the informational, and but it wasn't working again. When are we going to fix this, people? Really? We continue to pay for this as taxpayers, and it doesn't work. We pay these people in the IT department almost $100,000 a year. Is there nobody in this city that knows how to get it to work? Nobody? No consultants? Is nobody in the city? Do we have to fly someone in from China to fix this? Seriously, it's been broke for like 6 years. I don't understand it. It baffles me of the things we succeed in this city, and we succeed a lot of great things. We can't fix the software program. Wow, that blows my mind. But on a positive note, I was in Monk's the other night, and Monk's is the location of one of the free condom. They give out free condoms in the bathroom. There's a dispenser in there. And I walked in there, and it was completely empty. I thought, oh boy, they're not even bringing them here. They're just putting a dispenser up. So I asked the bartender, and he works almost every day there. I said, are they not refilling the free condom dispenser? And he said, oh no, they're here all the time refilling it. He said it's a very popular program. And he goes, they just go through them that quick. So I was happy to see that. So I'll leave you on that positive note.
Thank you, Scott. We appreciate that. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Bruce Danielson, Sioux Falls. Once again, this administration is asking a lot from us. We are being asked to believe in the Tooth Fairy, Peter Pan, plus after trying to get information from SIRE again, the almighty Wizard of Oz. Can you try and get the information services to get it running? In the next few weeks, we may have a surprise for you on how media and transcripts can be made public without a budget. Some of us have been working on a little project that may surprise all of you in the very near future. And by the way, did you all receive your real estate tax notice recently? I did. And I saw my taxes climb substantially for real estate. What did we get for this increase? Schools of questionable necessity, a city abusing the county's jail budget, a lot of city buildings and city services to support what we are seeing. This administration uses the boomtown theme to boom us out of our pocketbooks. Today and in the last few months, we've been hearing about the desperate need to spend more money on buildings with a little justification. On the screen right now are going to be a series of photos as Jim passes them past. Look at these photos. To get rid of about $130,000 in rent, we're going to be spending $25 million. To give a bit of terrible storage for SMG at the Denny. Here's the water building that just went by, with its too short walls to make it impossible to store anything. If you look at the water building, it actually only has 10-foot side walls. So there's no way you're going to be able to get forklifts in the building to move anything. If it's going to be real storage, that's not possible. So it's terrible storage. There's also a drop box in this group of pictures for utility bills, and it made me think, how many of the reported 500 daily visits to the water building are actually people driving up, dropping pieces of paper or checks into the drop box? Because I've been to that building. It's only about 4,000 square foot or so. There's not enough room for 500 people to visit that building in a day. Maybe it's time to consider something radical. Let's sell a bunch of buildings. We have a bunch of buildings around here that you're seeing that maybe we don't need them anymore. So as the photos go by, think about the waste we seem to continue to build over and over again on. Why not look at the empty or near empty buildings in Sioux Falls to get everyone in one location? If we must build next to Romantics, then build it out to hold everybody. Let's consider the complex up on Benson Road, formerly known as Capital One HSBC. And these buildings will house 1,000 people working in cubicles. The buildings are empty thanks to our boomtown mentality of low wages for those who pay for the city salaries. I guess what we're getting at is why not fix what we have, look outside the box, and not be so ready to close out this administration with another building's grand opening celebration. I don't know about you, but haven't we seen enough real estate tax increases without any real wages to go with? And one more item, I recently asked for a hazardous materials report on the new indoor pool. This is a report required to start the planning on a new pool due to the deadly chemicals stored and used there. Why did this administration once again fail to do its due diligence and make sure this building started out safe from the drawing board to now? Oh, and by the way, I'll be back soon with a Mortensen Event Center update. I know you can hardly wait. Thanks.
Thank you, Bruce. We appreciate that. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Sierra Bruce, Sioux Falls. Mayor, this is for you. I'm here tonight. I really didn't want to come because my temper level is beyond ridiculous with your chief of policemen. Julie Briggs is here for the cities to reach out to the city. She is not on the streets. I'm heavy into the streets. Pimping, prostitution, and human trafficking. I want the chief of police, for you to ask the chief of police to give me those records for the numbers of arrests on human trafficking, prostitution, and pimping, because they're putting it together as one whole. Human trafficking and pimping and prostitution is 3 different categories here. Call volume in hotels is on the rise again. Julie Briggs is, I think the city attorney is pushing too much paper on her, and she's not getting out in the community and reaching out to these problems here. 41st and Louise just settled a suit that I had filed with Pierre on race discrimination on 41st and Louise. Julie Briggs needs to be on this prostitution, this pimping, this human trafficking, these LGBT issues that are rising in the city, which is in Pierre. I reached out to Colleen. I was not happy with Colleen at all. So I'm reaching out to you, Mayor, to please get a hold of the city council. I want an itemized of what she is doing here. How is she reaching out to the community here? Because the taxpayers are paying her salary. I disagree with her and Colleen and the city attorney. She's not reaching out like she is. I'm a community activist doing this for free and hit the streets more than what she's hitting here. She has been doing this for so many years, and she quotes that she does not know what's going on in the city. Mayor, I'm going to call your secretary up next week, and I want your chief of police to reach out to me, or I'm going to put pressure on your police department, or I want you to reach out to me on these issues. I want a report on these issues. The motels and hotels is not getting resolved. We have Motel 6, 51-year-old woman working there and prostituting. We have ads on Craigslist that I pulled up on my phone. Husband and wife want a live-in boyfriend for sex 3 times a week. Lap dances, escorting violations. Want a lap dance at your house and will return money and sex and favors. I reached out to the crime scene units, asked them, is it because of the undercovers are not doing a lot of role playing here, or do we need some more undercovers to do the role of it because they're not catching these people? They said that the sergeant that was doing it is now a lieutenant now, and that someone else is in the role of the street crimes unit. Something has to give in the street crimes unit. I was a confidential informant for 10 years, okay? You don't do that in 10 years just to get somewhere. You got to do role playing. You got to buzz these people. I totally disagree with your chief of police with this human trafficking and this pimping and prostitution. It is not, they might be doing bust, but it's not enough bust that they should be, Mayor. So I'm asking you to please get those reports to me by next week, or I'm going to put pressure on your chief of police, and he's not going to like it. I am very disgusted with your chief of policeman here. Julie Briggs, like you said, when she became the Human Relations Department, that you was pumped up for her for the city, but I'm not too pumped up. I want to know what she's doing here. Please, Mayor, I'm asking you, and this is the last time, because my temper is flaring here, because I can't get through nothing with the city here. I want those reports, and I will be calling Julie in your office by Friday. Thank you, Mayor.
You bet, Sierra. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Well, thank you. We appreciate those comments. We'll now move on to item number 29. Or no, I'm so sorry. Councilor Anderson Jr. Had a topic. Thank you. Appreciate that. Councilor Anderson Jr. had an item on our consent agenda involving Parks and Rec. Councilor Anderson Jr., please go ahead, sir.
Hi, Don. Can we just get a little explanation on what type of repairs need to be happening here?
Yeah, the railing that's on the backside of the Sky Suites at the Sioux Falls Stadium, it's working loose, and so what this would do is be a consultant contract with Architecture Incorporated to design a repair in order to fix that railing and the concrete deck that leads up to the backside of those skyboxes.
So with that, are we losing any integrity to the walkway itself?
No, essentially what they'll do is they'll assess the condition of it, because Arc Inc. originally designed that renovation to that stadium, and so they'll come up with a recommended repair, and then we'll bid it out to get it repaired and fixed.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Councilor Anderson Jr., would you want to make a motion to approve that item?
Move for approval.
Thank you, sir.
Second, Rolfing.
Seconded by Councilor Rolfing. Appreciate that. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Rolfing, Staggers,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 29.
Item 29 is a new 2016 full-service restaurant on-sale liquor license, including Sunday sales certificate for Red Robin International Incorporated, Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews, 4001 West 41st Street, Suite 502B, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services.
Jamie?
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. This is a full-service restaurant on-sale liquor license, and they have provided the affidavit that attests that they will have 60% of their sales come from food and non-alcoholic beverages. And the company representative is here if you have any questions for him.
Thank you, Jamie. Council?
Move to approve Erickson.
Thank you.
Second, Karski.
Councilor Erickson's been motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Karski. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 30.
Item 30 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property north of East 69th Street, west of South Southeastern Avenue, and east of the railroad tracks from the CN Conservation RS Single Family Residential, Suburban O Office RA1 Apartment Residential, Low Density RA2 Apartment Residential, Moderate Density, RA3 Apartment Residential, High Density, and C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar Districts to the CN Conservation RD2 Townhome Residential, Suburban and O Office Districts. Petition number 3868, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening, Diane DeCoyer with the Planning Office. The applicant for this is Clint Ackerman. The property is located north of East 69th and west of Southeastern Avenue and east and west of the future South Tanner Avenue. The size of the parcel is 30.24 acres. It's 18 acres of RD2, 1.35 acres of office, and 10.89 acres of conservation. The purpose is to develop office and townhomes with conservation drainage areas. The property had previously been rezoned by another applicant. This applicant has acquired more detailed drainage analysis of the property. Therefore, in lieu of the RA2, they were providing CN for wetlands in the northeast. Townhome development will also be provided in lieu of various density apartments. The RD2 zoning will also provide the necessary transitions from the commercial, office, and institutional uses to the east. I can answer any questions you might have.
Diane, thank you. Appreciate it. Folks, this is second reading, so you have the opportunity to talk about this item if anybody's interested. Council? Yes, Councilor Anderson Jr.
Diane, as we start moving, or as we keep moving to the south here, we keep running into a lot of CN designations due to wetlands.
Right.
What are we doing to ensure that these plans are going to be good plans for people that are going to move into these residential areas?
Right.
With the type of water levels that we have down there?
I think in this case with the previous applicant, they just hadn't done their drainage analysis at that point. This applicant has done a very thorough analysis for it, hence the conservation that they have there in the northeast. So I do feel comfortable that these guys have actually thoroughly analyzed the area. So,
thank you.
Move to approve Erickson.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Erickson's made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson. Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 31.
Item 31 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at the southeast corner of East Rice Street and North Bonson Avenue from the unzoned district to the I-1 Light Industrial District, petition number 4035, 2016, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
the applicant for this is Patty Knorr with Merlin Roy's Paving. The size of the parcel is 1.9 acres. The applicant had requested a fence permit on the property, which triggered the rezone. It was previously a railroad right-of-way, which is now abandoned. So the applicant is rezoning to light industrial, which is consistent with the adjacent property. I can answer any questions you have.
Diane, thank you. Anybody in the audience want to speak to this item? Councilors?
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 32.
Item 32 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1327 North Main Avenue from the RT1 Single Family Residential Traditional District to the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District, petition number 4038, 2016, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
The applicant is, excuse my pronunciation, Asmaret Katima. Again, the location is 1327 North Main Avenue. The size of the parcel is 0.15 acres. The purpose is to continue to utilize this lot as part of the existing service station, as well as to make improvements to hard surface the lot. The applicant is required to provide a level C buffer yard to the south and west of the proposed parking lot, a 2-foot berm and a 4-foot fence with 40 units of landscaping per 100 lineal feet is required. I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Diane. Anybody in the audience want to speak to this item? Yes, Councilor Anderson Jr.
This question, are they going to pave that area? Because that is all dirt right now.
Correct. They are paving it. That is the improvements, which is also the reason why they have to put in the buffer yard with the adjacent home.
Okay. Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. If no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 33.
Item 33 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 8th, 2016 at 7 o'clock p.m. First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota approving a grant of pipeline easement.
Mr. Mayor, I need
Yes.
to recuse myself.
Thank you, Councilor Erickson. Appreciate that. Councilor Erickson is going to recuse herself from this item.
Good evening. I'm the second Diane of the evening. Diane Best, representing Public Works. This evening, we're here to discuss a pipeline easement that is requested by Dakota Access Pipeline on the west side of the city's landfill. With me tonight is Dustin Hanson, Superintendent of the Sioux Falls Regional Sanitary Landfill. He is also President of the South Dakota Pipeline Association. Dakota Access Pipeline has requested a 25-foot easement from the city. The pipeline will actually be built in a 50-foot easement, so this 25 feet straddles the neighbor's property. The key representatives that do wish to address the city, and they asked me to tell the city council that we're here for first reading. They would be available for the second reading so that they can answer questions and respond to public comments. They do obviously have offices out of state, so they wanted me to express to you that they do intend to be here for the second reading. As I stated, the oil pipeline would be on the partly on the landfill property. It would run along the west boundary of the landfill. As you're aware, the landfill is 5 miles west of the city. The area where the pipeline would be outside the working area of the landfill. So it would not be in the area where the solid waste is handled. As you're undoubtedly aware, the Public Utilities Commission has already issued a permit. The PUC is the regulatory authority with that administers the laws as to what the route can be for the pipeline. And as you can see by the map in front of you, that's the pipeline route that has been approved by the Public Utilities Commission. The Public Works did participate in that process before the PUC. And as a result, we requested and received extensive environmental and safety conditions on the permit for the pipeline. In addition to the PUC permit, the proposed easement also contains protections from the city, including a $10 million pollution insurance policy, and that will be an insurance policy that will need to be maintained for the life of the easement. In addition, the easement does contain an indemnity clause requiring Dakota Access Pipeline to indemnify the city against any damages that are claimed by others relating to pipeline damages. And then finally, Dakota Access Pipeline and the city engaged in discussions concerning the compensation due for a 25-foot easement, and the easement and negotiated a payment of $24,638 for the easement. And that is a price that is basically the average of agricultural property and industrial property. And as you are aware, the site is kind of on the edge of agricultural and industrial property. So that's what the basis for the compensation is for the easement. I would ask that you set a second reading for this for next Tuesday, and I'm here to respond to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Diane. Appreciate it. Council, any questions or comments? Councilor Jameson.
Yes.
Diane, maybe you said it, I didn't hear it, but did Gary Hansen say why he didn't support it?
My understanding, based on what I listened to it on the PUC website, and my understanding is that it was based on the growth areas for the city of T and Harrisburg, that the pipeline goes around the south edge, and he felt that the growth areas were, that would be into their growth areas.
Thank you. And then do you have a map of the other, and maybe it's not as relevant, but aren't there a lot of pipes that go through the city right now?
I did not bring one for purposes of this, but there certainly are. There are, of course, a number of water pipelines. There are oil pipelines. Mid-American has the natural gas pipelines that are within the city. And then, of course, this one would go on the west side of the landfill. And the city itself owns a landfill gas pipeline that would be also on the west side of the landfill. And it would be to this parallel this pipeline to the east.
If I could,
Councilor, yes.
thank you. The thought would be that I know there are certainly plenty of lines underneath the city, but as well to see that map and to understand or know of any history of problems with those. You know, this is close to our landfill, and I know they could figure that out and not have a problem, but it just seems to me that there's a lot of places in town that are covering pipes, and we haven't had a problem. That would be my instinct of that, but maybe it's different. But could you get that for us before the next reading?
You'd like a map of the pipelines and
just the stuff like oil and gas and the
oil and gas pipelines.
Yeah, not the water stuff or sewer.
Okay, sure.
And then Diane, Councilor Jameson also asked if there was a history of any issues, and we should have that ready too.
Okay, yeah. I can address that.
Councilor Anderson Jr.
I spoke with Commissioner Hansen actually this afternoon. If you could bring that photo back up, please.
Which photo do you?
This one right here. Thank you. Oh. Just to relay some of his concerns that he had was that the pipeline was too close to the growth areas of two of our smaller communities, and that the communications that they had stated they had with these communities were less than truthful, we'll say, and that there was very little to none. Also, there is some other problems with the way that this company has treated some of our citizens here in the state by actually putting lawsuits on them before the permit was even given, which wasn't needed. And he felt that these were things that wasn't a company that was going to be good to citizens or to South Dakota, so that's why his vote came in as no. And I guess I sort of echo his concerns, and I would like to see maybe if we can get it, we show the growth areas here for Sioux Falls. I'd like to see the growth areas for T and Harrisburg here too. Yeah. These are partners in the region here for us, And I just want to make sure that this is going to be good for everyone.
If I may, the growth areas are for T and Harrisburg are the yellow
Okay.
on the map.
That is their,
Yes.
okay.
Right.
I thought that was only for Sioux Falls and that they were showing just Harrisburg and T there. So the white areas are actually the cities and then the yellow, okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Counselor, thank you. Counselor Erbach.
Question. Thanks, Diane, for bringing this forward. I know this has been complicated. We've been working on it a long time. Can you talk about our relationship with this company? Have we had issues with them? I think we've been in conversation with them for quite a while, and we've gotten things out of them that maybe not. Could you talk about that a little bit more?
Certainly. They approached the City of Sioux Falls asking for any input that we would have, and also discussing where the pipeline would be relative to the landfill, because we're, not only a neighbor, but a city that had, that the pipeline would go by. And so they did ask for input I felt like very early on. They filed the application in December of 2014. They approached us soon after they filed the application, I think. They made a presentation to the council here. I had both Dustin and I had extensive discussions with them regarding the easement, and needless to say, you're right, we did not end up with a standard easement. We did have the insurance clause. Of course, I don't know what all easements they're providing to others, but there is the $10 million insurance clause. And then also what I consider to be a fairly rigorous indemnity clause as well.
And if I may, I'm not a big fan of pipelines either, and I did attend at least one of those community meetings at about that same time that they were talking to us, and landowners were not particularly pleased about this process either. And so my question is, do we know yet how many of these easements have been granted by landowners? Are we just like the finishing touches, or are we at the very beginning of this? Do you know?
Dakota Access Pipeline obviously would be able to answer that when they come in to talk, but I did look at the information that they had provided to the South Dakota PUC, but certainly to the Iowa PUC, and they reported at 92% that they've received 92% of the easements that would be required for South Dakota.
Okay, thank you.
Or that's the article I read.
Right, got it. No, that's fine. Thank you.
Councilor Rolfing.
Diane, I'm concerned about this whole thing, but I'm also mostly concerned out there about the pipeline going through landfill, and isn't that the way we are expected to grow the landfill to the west? And I thought one time we had talked about having them or asking them to move that pipeline a quarter or half mile west so that they wouldn't infringe on the property for probably 50 years or more.
Okay, certainly I can address that. Yes, in fact, we did have discussions with them regarding the route, and I'm pleased to tell you that this is the preferred route. They have also...
For us?
Preferred by us.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
They did also agree to install the pipeline the pipeline in general is 4 feet below the ground. And they also agreed to install the pipeline at a lower depth at 3 places on the near the landfill, 3 separate locations. In the event that the city wished to install haul roads, we would be able to take heavy equipment over those pipes without any stress on their pipes. And so, they were working with us on trying to get that arranged, and it will be at their cost to do that, and they agreed to do that. As far as the future growth, we're very optimistic about recycling efforts and the kinds of things we're doing now. We're very optimistic about the longevity of the landfill. But when you go into a situation like this with a pipe, you want to look out for possible haul roads in the future. That's not to say that we're acquiring anything or being aggressive about expanding, but just it's a abundance of caution type scenario.
Okay. Thank you.
Good job. Councilor Anderson, just one second.
Yep.
Folks, anybody else want to engage Diane on this topic before I go back to Councilor Anderson Jr.? Councilor Anderson Jr.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Diane, I just want to clarify this too, that this was not the original line that they actually wanted to put in. This is what we've negotiated with them.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
It's very close, but we did negotiate this arrangement.
Council, good job. Would anybody want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 8th for this item?
So moved.
Second.
That has been motion made and has been seconded. Thank you, councilors. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Anderson,
No.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That has passed 6-1. Thank you. Item 34.
Item 34 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 8th, 2016 at 7 o'clock p.m. First reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the city, authorizing the issuance of its sales tax revenue bonds, authorizing the use of the proceeds thereof to pay the cost to design, construct, equip, and furnish an office building to be located at 231 North Dakota Avenue, and landscaping, street, and site improvements and signage with respect to the building in Van Epps Park for use by the city for various governmental purposes and the cost of issuance thereof, and pledging a portion of the sales and use tax proceeds of the city to the payment of said sales tax revenue bonds, fixing the terms of such sales tax revenue bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a second supplemental indenture to an amended and restated indenture of trust between the city and the First National Bank in Sioux Falls, and authorizing the sale, execution, and delivery of such sales tax revenue bonds in an amount not to exceed $21,900,000, plus costs of issuance, capitalized interest, if any, and debt service reserve funds.
Tracy?
Good evening, Tracy Turback with the Finance Office. This is the ordinance that would provide the financing for the proposed office building to be located just north of the 8th and Dakota parking ramp. We had a very good discussion this afternoon at the council informational meeting about the bond ordinance itself as well as the project. As you folks know, last week at the informational meeting, we had the team here to talk about the project. We gave an extensive presentation. A lot of those same people are here tonight from the project team. But what I want to do now, I would ask that our bond counsel, Bruce Bonjour, address the council and just briefly step you through the ordinance and what that ordinance will do and what it's authorizing in terms of the bond sale. So if you've got questions for any of us at all about the bond ordinance, the bond financing, or the project itself, I think we've got the right people here tonight to do that. I also want to mention we have representatives from PFM, our financial advisory firm. I don't intend for them to make any presentation. They did speak to the council this afternoon, but I do want you to know they are here to answer any questions that you folks may have as well. So with that, I will turn it over to Bruce Bonjour, our bond counsel. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
I am Bruce Bonjour. I'm with the law firm of Perkins Coie. I'm based in Chicago. I was also your bond counsel for your convention center bonds and drafted the amended and restated trust indenture pursuant to which your sales tax bonds are all issued. They're all parity bonds, so they all get issued for separate projects, but they're secured commonly by your second penny sales tax. The ordinance that you have in your package has two exhibits to it. One is a notice of public sale, and the second is a supplemental indenture. Excuse me, second supplemental indenture, which ties into the indenture I just referenced. The ordinance is in a traditional form, and that is that the first 3 pages or so are actually a preamble. They're whereas clauses that describe the history of the City of Sioux Falls sales tax financings. Dates back to 1988. That was the indenture we amended and restated in 2012. The ordinance then describes the city administration building to be located on Dakota Avenue, yes. And then proceeds to describe the parameters pursuant to which the mayor and your authorized officers will be permitted to sell bonds to finance the project. Those parameters are a cost of the project, $21.9 million, plus an amount of bonds sufficient to fund a debt service reserve fund, which is 1 year's debt service, principal and interest, capitalized interest, that would be paying interest until the sales tax takes over to pay principal and interest, and cost of issuance for the issuance of the bonds. Total maximum principal amount, therefore, when you add those up, would be $25 million. The expectation is there's cushion there that the actual bond issue would be below $25 million. The other parameters are a final maturity of November 15, 2036, in other words, approximately 20 years. An interest rate in average overall true interest cost of 5%. The expectation is that that also has cushion. At today's rates, it would be less. The bonds will be sold at a competitive sale. So the notice of sale that I mentioned, which is an exhibit to the ordinance, will actually be published. And banks and underwriters will bid, closed bid envelopes, take the lowest responsible bidder for the lowest interest cost for your bonds. And the final parameter, I believe, material here is that the purchasers will have to pay at least 99.5% of the dollar amount of the bonds. In other words, they can't bid with a greater discount to purchase the bonds. In today's market, the expectation is they will actually bid a premium above the par amount of the bonds, which would produce greater proceeds than the principal amount borrowed. Upon second reading and publication, the mayor and your city officers then would be authorized to sell the bonds pursuant to those parameters, and we could proceed with the construction of the project in due course. Questions?
Bruce, thank you very much, and thanks for coming to Sioux Falls. We appreciate that.
Happy to.
Tracy, is there anybody else? Very good, very good. Well, Bruce, thank you. Tracy, thank you. Council, questions, comments on this first reading? Councilor Stagers.
Yeah. Yes, if I could clarify, how many people are going to be put in the building after it's constructed?
Sue?
Good evening. Sue Kwan McGetton, Director of Central Services. We're anticipating 95 to 100 people initially in the new building. They will be moving from a variety of different buildings, some from City Hall, some from other buildings. The engineering staff in total, including the engineers that are currently in the basement of City Hall, would be moving. People from second floor, Public Works admin, Parks admin, and utility billing potentially. So round figures 95 to 100 people on day one.
Councilor Stagers, yes, sir. Keep going.
I've got another question too. A number of people have contacted me about this building, and a number of people have suggested, why didn't the city just simply try to rent a building downtown, or why didn't the city just simply try to build a very modest building downtown? Can you give an explanation for that?
Yes, we have spent since 2012, so going on 4 years of researching other possible locations, whether it be leasing, whether it be building, whether it be buying an existing building. All told, we vetted through dozens, at least 2 dozen different options. What we found that in the downtown area in particular, many of the buildings that we toured, and we did tour a lot of them, just simply aren't big enough to help us with our future growth needs. Some of the bigger buildings would probably be fine for maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, but not enough for the 3 decades that we're planning for. So parking was a consideration. Location was another major consideration, and we did consider some properties that weren't necessarily right in the downtown area, but we didn't find any that we felt would be a good fit for us and be in close proximity to City Hall, since we have no plans to vacate City Hall. That answers your question.
Councilor, Sue, Councilor Stegers also asked about the modesty of the building.
Yes.
Could you address that too, please?
So the plan was that, or the plan is that we will build a 3-story building initially. The first 2 floors would be occupied right away, but with some growth space in both of those first 2 floors. We will build a 3rd floor shell, anticipating future growth. And the reason that we're doing it that way is the cost effectiveness of building it up front that way. We're also putting in footings and foundations to allow us to, at some point down the road, should we desire to, we can add a 4th story to it. We feel that this is prudent and will get us through for the next 30 plus years. We'll also vacate some area within City Hall so that we have growth in that building as well for the departments that will still be housed there. And this will allow us to vacate leased space so that we no longer have to lease at all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Stegers. Councilor Jameson.
If it will, I would just state that I have huge reservations against this borrowing of the money to build a building. But there are ongoing conversations with Sue and other staff members, as well as the public, regarding options and essentially all the details of this project. So I'm going to make a motion to approve or set the hearing for Tuesday, March 8th, because of that ongoing channel of communication and new information that is still in the opportunity to gain. So in that effort, I'll make a motion.
Councilor Jameson, thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Erpenbach.
There has been a motion to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 8th by Councilor Jameson, second by Councilor Erpenbach. Discussion on the motion. Councilor Erickson.
No discussion. I have a substitute motion.
Thank you, Councilor.
Substitute motion to delay the vote till Tuesday, April 5th, to allow ample time for research and community to be able to have a little more say, give some time, so we're not making a $22 million decision in 8 days. So I just ask for the council support to go ahead and delay that till Tuesday, April 5th, and continue to do our research as well as get the questions that we have answered, need answered.
And I will second that.
There's been a motion to amend the motion, Councilor Jameson, or substitute motion, thank you, to Tuesday, April 8th, or April 5th? April 5th, 2016, and it has been seconded. Discussion on the replacement motion, please. Yes, I'm going to go to Councilor Rolfing first because you seconded it. Councilor Rolfing, and then I'm going to go to Councilor Erpenbach.
Thank you. I just I served on the committee that helped put this all together with mostly the help of the staff, and I'm just feeling that we need just a little bit more time with the information we've been given in the last few minutes, in the last few days. I'm not against the proposal, but I would like a little bit more time to get some answers to things, and so I'm in favor and would urge you to vote for this too.
Councilor, thank you. Councilor Erpenbach.
I just wanted to add a couple of things because people
Please.
are talking to all of us, and there were just some things that came to me as we were in conversation this afternoon. I appreciated the amount of time we were able to spend really kind of hashing through this thing. A couple of things I want us all to remember, and I'm going to say this to citizens as they talk to me over the next couple of weeks. Number one, let's remember that the law enforcement center isn't very far from this building, and it was not built to be expandable. Let's take that lesson. Let's learn that lesson, that building is teaching us. And perhaps this new building is something that we might be able to help rectify that mistake with the law enforcement center. Maybe there's expansion possibilities there. The other thing to think about is that idea of counties sharing space. Let's be realistic about this idea of a possible sort of almost a government mall along there, but let's be realistic with this idea that the county, that we are the county, that us as citizens are the county, and that we need to be realistic about the space that's available to them, to that government, and to think about how do these two governments work together, and how does that space get used most appropriately. And then the other piece that I want is, and I'll say this to citizens over and over again in the next couple of weeks, is to remember that the $21.9 million is not all just a building. Only about $18 million of that is the building itself. Let's remember, we're also talking about parking. We're talking about making that better use of that space in front of the building in terms of parking there on Dakota Avenue. And it includes that whole wonderful park space between the building and Minnesota Avenue. So that's how we get to 21.9 million. It's just eight. It is just eight. Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. But it's $18 million is the building itself, and that there is much more to this than just a building for a few people for a couple of years. This is a much broader topic, and I really want the community to think of it that way, that this is not about just the next 5 years. It is about a long-term goal, and it's not getting any cheaper. That's my statement.
Councilors, thank you. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Once again, this is the amendment.
This is the amended, replacement motion, Councilor Staggers, and it's to, instead of the March 8th date, it's April 5th, 2016.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Council, thank you. That is passed 8-0. Item 35.
Item 35 is a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of Imani Ridge Addition. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Diane?
Good evening. Diane DeCoyer with Planning. Item 35 is the resolution for a preliminary subdivision plan for Imani Ridge Addition. The applicant for this is Eric Case with Stockwell Engineers. The owner is Broyne Trust. The property is located south-southwest of Great Bear Recreation Area. The size of the parcel is 41.2 acres. The purpose is to develop no more than 8 lots of RS single-family residential suburban. The property was rezoned in October. You should have a copy of the agreement from Stone Arch to construct and maintain the temporary roads. I can answer any questions you might have.
Diane, thank you. Did anybody in the audience want to speak to this item? Thank you. Councilor Anderson Jr.
Diane, as far as the agreement on the 2 temporary streets, how long are they going to be temporary?
I think you might have a copy of the agreement. My understanding is until the residential is developed, and then the roads would follow, but I'd have to double check. I'm not sure I found that in this. Just a minute and I'll take a look.
Diane, is there anybody here from the development team?
Diane, if you don't have that information now, we can, let's see, oh, wait a second, I guess not. This is a resolution.
Yeah, this is our final reading on it. It gives a lot of other detail. I'm not sure that it's...
Sir, welcome. Are you with the development team?
Sorry, I'm Eric Case with Stockwell Engineers. I can't represent Stone Arch with the agreement, but I can answer any questions about the Imani Ridge part of it. The Stone Arch is, the agreement is between the city and Stone Arch, so we had no involvement with that.
Thank you. The question, I don't know if you heard it from Councilor Anderson Jr., was will the roads, how long will they be temporary? Can you answer that question, sir?
From a development standpoint, and like I said, I have no knowledge of the actual agreement itself. But from a development standpoint, the streets go in as the lots are sold. So it's a build-out type issue. As the funds become available, as lots are sold, then the streets typically get developed as they go through. So.
Thank you. Thanks for giving it a shot. We appreciate it. Diane, any thoughts?
I don't see any detail to that. It just talks about a successor, or if it has to be reassigned if there's a new owner or developer on it. But I don't see anything that tells us the timeline for the temporary roads. So I think, as Eric stated, it is as the lots are sold and developed, the roads would also then be developed.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Erickson. My apologies.
That's okay. They have to also maintain. I've been had a little mini conversation about the yellow will be plowed by the city per the agreement because they can't really turn around. It just makes sense to go and plow that there. But it is the responsibility of them, not the city, the developers, to maintain and grade and keep it within that standard. Do dust control for the 6-ish weeks that it is required, or whatever the exact amount is. But as far as I recall, I don't believe that there is a actual date that says this point you have to do a permanent, turn it permanent. But as it develops to grow, that road will come in. The other intent of this road was to make sure that the construction traffic heads up that way into those additional developments instead of in front of the actual houses that are already there, maintained, and it's more by the empty lots that it's the secondary access for that.
Yes, everything you said is correct as stated in the agreements.
Secondary public access, I should say. I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Councilor.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilor. Appreciate that. If there is no, Councilor Jameson. Yes, sir.
Is there no offer to the public for testimony?
Oh, sorry.
I thought I started. Didn't I start with that? My apologies.
Just to be sure.
Sorry.
Councilor Jameson, thanks for catching me. Folks, did anybody want to speak to this item in the audience? My apologies. Very good. Councilor Anderson Jr.
You know, when this all started, it did start with having a secondary road access, a temporary one, which the first one that was built was definitely not what we were looking for. As we talk about these two roads, and especially Marlowe is going to connect to an area where they are going to build 8 multi-million-dollar residents, and then to the east there is even more planned. So now we are well over that 31 residents, well over 31 residents that should require a permanent secondary access. I know that this will get voted through. We've worked very hard to do this. I do want to say thank you to Councilman Erickson, or Councilor Erickson, for the work that she's done on this also. But I just feel we're falling short here by only just allowing a gravel road. So, thank you.
Councilor Erickson.
Thank you. I just want to make one point of clarification. The secondary access does go through kind of the farm road area. I think we've all been out there because we've dealt with this area for about 2 years. And that's just a temporary emergency access if there's a disaster. And I think that's where some of the confusion, and I will be the first to admit I was confused with that too, because I thought, how can we go through this farmland? And it's not even the developers, it's not Stone Arch, it's the landowner next door. And it's a temporary emergency access to get through there. Now, this public access trigger point here, it has been a little messy, and I do echo a lot of the same concerns that Councilor Anderson said, and we are working on an ordinance, and hopefully we'll be able to come forward with that in the next public services next couple weeks. So stay tuned for that, but this isn't perfect, but it has been a long time in the process, so I just ask my councilors to support this, please.
A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 36.
Item 36 is a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of South Dakota Public Universities and Research Center Addition and University Center Research Park Addition. Planning Commission recommends approval.
The applicant for this item is Monty Miller with Sayer Associates. The owner is the USD Research Park, Inc. Property is located to the southeast corner of North Marion Road and West 60th Street. Size of the parcel, the size of the preliminary subdivision plan is 248 acres, 248.74 acres. 157.57 acres is for the S2 PUD. 67.07 is for light industrial, and 24.1 is for conservation. The purpose is to construct a mixed-use development. The property was rezoned in November. Traffic study has been accepted by engineering, and the owner would like to begin work on it this summer for both utilities and dirt work. I can answer any questions you have.
Before I go to the council, is there anybody in the audience who wants to speak to this item? Thank you. Council? Thank you, Councilor.
Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Karski.
Councilor Rolfing's made a motion to approve this item, second by Councilor Karski. Yes, Councilor Anderson Jr.
Diane, with this resolution, does it tie the city to anything that we have to do up in that development?
The roads will be public, so we will be responsible for maintaining those roads, but not in terms of the initial development.
Infrastructure, building, anything like that?
No.
Okay, thank you.
A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 37.
Item 37 is a resolution authorizing the City of Sioux Falls to gift 14 sets of soccer goals to the City of Del Rapids, South Dakota.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council Member. Don Kearney with Parks and Recreation. Recently, we did replace the soccer goals that we have at Spencer Park. That's the youth goals that we have along the Interstate 229. As a result of those replacement goals, we did get approached by the City of Del Rapids requesting that the goals that we did have down at Spencer Park be surplus to them for use in the City of Del Rapids. So we certainly support our recommendation is to go ahead and surplus them to the City of Del Rapids.
Thanks, Don. Anybody in the audience want to talk about this item? Okay.
In the name of soccer,
Yes.
I will
You better.
move for approval.
Second.
All right, that was a hearty approval. Thank
Hearty,
you,
hearty.
Councilor Rolfing, and a hearty second by Councilor Anderson Jr., who doesn't play soccer but loves softball. And, so
I'll tell you, those goals are built like they'll last another 40 years, right?
all right. Great. Del Rapids will love them. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Thank you, Council. That is passed 8-0. Item 38.
Item 38 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of Sioux Falls and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau for the management of the Sioux Falls Visitor Information Center and Viewing Tower at Falls Park.
David, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Dave Fisher, Assistant Director, Parks and Recreation. The existing agreement that we have for management of the Falls Park Visitor Center expires at the end of 2016. That also is with the CVB. We're proposing a 5-year agreement that essentially leaves the conditions of the existing agreement in place. The CVB provides all of the staffing, they do the scheduling, they do promotions of the park system, and they also do sales of promotional items. Parks and Recreation provides the maintenance, like including snow removal, janitorial, that kind of thing. It's a relationship that's been in place since the Falls Park Visitor Center opened in the year 2000. Doesn't seem like it's been that long ago, but the year 2000, and I think it's worked very successfully. The CVB recently reported to us that in the year 2015, there were just under 200,000 people that went through the Visitor Center. Not Falls Park, but just went through the Visitor Center. And of those 200,000 people, that was representative of all 50 states and also 43 foreign countries. And with that kind of visitation there, we're believing the CVB is kind of the right organization to be at the visitor center and representing Sioux Falls, promoting Sioux Falls, and also the rest of the park system. Terry Schmidt from the CVB is also here tonight to help answer if you have any questions.
David, thank you. Is there anybody in the audience who wanted to talk about this item? Very good. Councilor Anderson Jr.
Move for approval.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Kylie?
Thank you. I'll give that one to, second to Councilor Kylie. Thank you. But I know you're passionate about it, Councilor Rolfing. Councilor Anderson Jr.
After attending the Visitor Bureau conference this year in Pierre, I learned a lot over a couple days of how important the CVBs in this state are to the economic engine that runs this state. And the one other thing I learned is that most of these CVBs model themselves after one of our most successful CVBs, which is Sioux Falls. They do a great job promoting Sioux Falls in this area and working with other CVBs to promote the state of South Dakota. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Great job. Yes, Councilor Karski.
Just wanted to point out, Mayor, that CVB has quite a dedicated staff. They've been sitting here for over an hour now, and we've got some good people here from the CVB, just to recognize them, that they are here for that, so to thank them.
That's not them. But
That's not you? I know Terry's here.
Terry.
Who's Terry?
Do
you want to work for the CVB?
It doesn't matter if they're here or not. They have some very dedicated
Well,
staff.
that was smooth. That was smooth.
Terry, obviously you're worth more than just one person, so good job. Folks, before the night's over, we'll have you introduce yourself to Councilor Karski.
Yeah.
And all of Sioux Falls. So we still think you're great. So nice job. Smooth move. I love it. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
That is passed overwhelmingly 8-0. Item 39.
Item 39 is a report of the February 25th, 2016 Notice of Transfer of Appropriations within Major Organizational Units.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Before we adjourn, who are you folks? We're excited to have you here. Would you mind introducing yourself to the people of our town?
Absolutely. What we have represented here tonight is a portion of the MB's Women Leadership Program. So there are 24 members in the program, and there are, I think, 18 of us here tonight to represent the program and learn more about our city and ways in which we can be involved as female leaders. So.
Very
none
good.
of you work for the CVB.
For those watching or listening at home, these are members of the MB Leadership Program and Women's Leadership Program. Very good, and really appreciate you being here and for your service as well. Anybody else want to introduce themselves while we're on a roll here? But we certainly appreciate everybody's presence, so thank you. Council, a motion to adjourn, please.
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilor Erpenbach to adjourn this meeting, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned, Sioux Falls. Make it a great, great night.